Hello, my amazing artists. Today we are going to create some texture rubbings, and then we are going to use those texture rubbings to do some paper weaving. So here are some texture plates that we are going to use. And then you also need some crayons. These have no paper on them to make it a little easier. And then we're going to use the color wheel to help us. There are warm colors, which are colors like red, orange, and yellow, and all the colors in between. And then there's also cold or cool colors, which are like violet, blue, and green, and all the colors in between there. It's important to know our warm and cool colors. So to begin, let's choose some warm colors. So looking at my crayons, I'm going to try to choose colors that are on the warm side of the color wheel. It helps if you lay down your crayons next to your color wheel and use that as a tool. Once you've picked out a few crayons that are warm colors, we can get started with the texture rubbings. So to review, the texture rubbing is going to go below your paper. Put your paper on top. It's like you're tucking in the texture plate. Grab one crayon. You're going to lay it flat. You're going to get your fingers, make them look like a little birdie, and then just start rubbing. And whoa, you will see that you're creating an implied texture, something that looks like there's a texture there, but it's not really there. All right, something fun you might want to experiment with is how to layer your colors. These are all warm colors, and yeah, you can really have a lot of freedom with this, playing however you want, layering your colors. The main goal is to cover up your entire paper with textures using only warm colors. Once you've filled in your entire paper, you can set that to the side. Take your new piece of white paper, and on this paper, we're going to create texture rubbings using only cool colors. So again, look at your crayons and start to choose colors that are cool or cold. So I'm laying them on my color wheel, and that's going to help me see if something is cool or if it's more of a warm color. So check it out. Look at this crayon. I'm not sure if it's a warm or a cold color. So I'm actually going to test it on my paper. I'm going to apply some of the color. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's on paper. Then compare. It definitely looks closer to the red violet, which is a warm color. So I cannot use it on this project. I'm only going to use the cool colors. And you know what, that's okay. I'm just going to cover up that spot that I accidentally colored with, and you won't even be able to tell. So just continue doing your texture rubbings, but this time using only cool colors. Another fun idea is you could try to use different textures of items around you. Maybe you want to use the bottom of your shoe and do a texture rubbing of that. Maybe there's a cool item in your supply bag that you want to try. If you're using a work mat, you can use the work mat, and there's actually a texture to that because it's made out of cardboard. So there's textures all around us. You don't just have to use the texture plate. Feel free to get creative and use different items for this project. Okay, artists, now that we have made our texture rubbings of warm colors and cool colors, we are going to do a fold. So this is called an accordion fold, and you're going to flip your paper over so you see the white side. Then you're going to tuck back, fold back about an inch of the paper so you see the texture now. Then flip it, fold back. And you're just going to fold about the same size of the first fold. Flip and fold. Pretty easy. Flip and fold. This is going to create an accordion fold, or a zigzag fold is what some people call it. but you just keep repeating, flip and fold, flip and fold until you get to the end of your paper. And then check it out. Cool. It's all springy and fun. These zigzag lines make it open and close just like an accordion, which is where it gets its name from. So next thing, take your other texture rubbing and we're just going to repeat. Flip it over and fold. After you've creased it, flip and fold, and then just continue. Then you're actually going to use these creases to help you cut your paper into strips. So I like to flatten it out on my desk a little bit, makes it easier to cut. Then following the crease line, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to say slide, chomp, chomp, slide, chomp, chomp. Go nice and slow so that you make your strips as straight as possible. Okay. Let's say that we have already finished. The next step is you're going to use a black piece of paper. You can really use any color, but I think black is going to work really nicely with these colorful strips. And you're going to fold that paper in half horizontally. So line up the edges, take your finger to the middle and crease. Next, rotate so the folded edge is towards your belly, and then we're going to cut the paper while it is still folded. So you're going to cut up your paper, but you're not going to go all the way. So watch closely before you start. So slowly, I'm just cutting up the edge, and then about an inch from that far edge, I'm going to stop. If you cut all the way through, this won't work. So make sure you stop your cutting before you get to the very edge of your paper. And just continue. I'm going to cut about 6 strips. You do not have to cut exactly 6. You could cut more, you could cut less. That is up to you. It does not really matter the number. So I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strips. All right, then when you open it up, ooh, cool, check it out. You have these little strips that now we are actually going to take our paper strips and we are going to weave them into the black paper. To start, use a warm color strip and put it under, then over the black strip. Okay, and then under the black strip, over the next black strip. And repeat, under. You got to use your fingers to help pull it out. Over and then under. Okay, cool. So you can tell we just created a pattern. The strip goes under, over, under, over, under, over, under. How cool. And since that was a warm strip, what we're going to do next is grab a cool color strip and we're going to continue the pattern. But instead of going under to begin, we need to go over to begin. So you can go over, under, under. Ooh, pull it out. Go over, under, and over. Okay, awesome. Then you can straighten it up with your fingers like I'm doing. And let's check. It goes over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Awesome. And then because this is a pattern, it's just going to continue. You're going to start with under because the last time we went over. So go under on this new strip, then over, then under, then over, then under, then over, and you're just going to continue. Definitely you can use your fingers to help pull the paper through. This is weaving. Of course, we're doing it with paper, but this is great practice for when we actually use fabrics and learn how to weave using fabric and thread. When you've completed your paper weaving, turn it over, and on the back, if you have time, you could add some drawings of symbols that represent your life. So think to yourself, what are some things in your life that are really important to you and that help paint the picture of who you are and how you have lived your life so far? This is only if you finish early, but it is a great way to tell your story through your artwork. So I was thinking of things or activities that are really near to my heart and that are important to me. And all of these symbols add together to create who I am as an individual. So I want you to think of who you are, what is important to you, and draw symbols of those on the back. You may use words or draw pictures of symbols that represent who you are. Show who you are in your story through your art. And then finally, we need to glue our paper strips down onto our paper so that they don't move. So if your strips have wiggled around, you can just straighten them up with your fingers by sliding them to the left or the right. And then I'm going to use a glue stick to glue this down. So you have to flip back your flap, put a little dot of glue, place it back, and then massage your paper down to the black paper. This is going to make the papers bond together with the glue. So continue doing that. And then you might have to turn it around, make sure your name's on it. And then you can glue the flaps on the back here. So just make sure you glue them down and then you are all done. And there you are, artist. I hope you had fun weaving your own story quilt.